All right, Tony, Kansas City at Houston is the first game we're going to discuss right now. Houston is a 1-point home favorite. The total's 41. At first glance, I thought Houston's the side here. They're roughly evenly matched, but so at home, why should Houston be giving only one? Then I thought maybe that's a little bit of a fishy line. The Chiefs are the Chiefs again, right? We're going to use conservative game management from Alex Smith and a lot of running from Jamal Charles. Jeremy Maclin helps. How much? And we know that that Hoyer is the quarterback for Houston now to go along with the intimidating defense. What's your analysis of this game, Tony?
Well, I have a free side play on my website, but I want to talk about the totals play here.
Okay.
Kansas City, first of all, was one of the top picks for me in the season win totals over 8. I think Kansas City is going to win the AFC West this year. What I've seen from them, and I live here and went to some of their training camp up in St. Joe, which is 40 minutes north of my house, is the game plan's not going to be that conservative this year. You take a look from a fantasy perspective, I think Alex Smith would be a steal right now. Jamal Charles is a rock star. Travis Kelce, one of the top 3 tight ends in the league. You've got a lot of offense here for Kansas City, but the one thing that's unheralded is Kansas City's defense is going to be a lot better this year.
Okay.
They got Eric Johnson back in the middle. They got Eric Berry back. They've got 2 outside linebackers and Holly in Houston that rush your passer as good as anybody in the league. They've got a good defensive line. Poe is, I heard today, was going to start at nose tackle off injury. Didn't play in the preseason, but forced in the middle as well. And, you really got to ask yourself, what's Houston got to offer offensively? Brian Hoyer's always been a backup quarterback. He's still a backup quarterback. He beat out a backup quarterback. It took him the whole spring camp to do it. Their best offensive weapon is out with Adrian Foster here. And we all know about Houston's defense, bookend defensive ends with Watt and Clowney now back in there. Cushing, good middle linebacker, obviously. Decent secondary. But the bottom line here is the total 41. This game's going to come down to 10-13, 17-10, 17-14 type ball game.
Right.
It's going to be a defensive struggle here. I think the line is ripe at 41. I got this at 36, 35.5 on power rating here. It's a big overlay against spread. Take the under here. Points are going to be at a premium.
Awesome analysis. Tony George. And Tony George website again, TonyGeorgeSports.com, giving us a free pick with the under 41. But for future weeks, in general, you sound like you're pretty bullish on KC. So you're telling us that we should expect maybe a better offense than we've seen in years past from KC. And in general, you expect them to do well and maybe beat spreads more often than not?
Yeah, they are. You stretch a field vertically with Jerry Maclin in there now. And this Cooney kid we got in the draft looks good. They've got 3-4 receivers that aren't bad there, and their offensive game plan and what they did in the preseason, we were looking downfield a lot more than they were last year. And Andy Reid has the ability now to open up the playbook a little bit more, get down the field a little bit more, which is going to give you a lot more options as well with Jamal Charles out in the flat and even running the football with that threat of a vertical pass. I think it's going to make a big difference. Hell, they won 8 games last year, Peter, and they had 9 wins last year. Their projected total was 8, and they had 9 wins without throwing 1 touchdown pass to a wide receiver.
The fruits of Tony George's expertise can be found every Saturday and Sunday, Yahoo Sports Radio, 11 a.m. Eastern, where he previews the NFL and college football cards. Of course, at his website, TonyGeorgeSports.com. Before we let you go, tell us a little bit about what that's all about.
Well, we got a great radio show for you Saturday and Sunday, Yahoo Sports. Teddy Covers joins me every week. Doug Upstone, who writes for your website there. Yeah. Other experts, as well as Matt Holt, chief odds maker for Cantor Gaming in Las Vegas, comes on every week and tells you where the money's at, public money, sharp money, unprecedented access to a Las Vegas odds maker each and every week. So it's worth the tune in for an hour. Last year, the show, 62% against the number.
Nice.
Saturday and Sundays combined on national radio audience, bringing handicapping to the forefront on mainstream radio. It is well worth a listen at that percentage.
Sounds awesome, Tony George. Thanks so much. Industry veteran Tony George. His website is TonyGeorgeSports.com. Maybe more impressively, though, is he's got a primetime slot at Yahoo Sports Radio every Saturday and Sunday before the college football and NFL games from 11 to 12, 11 a.m. Eastern to 12 noon. That's, again, Yahoo Sports Radio. Murderer's Row of famous handicappers. Definitely recommend you tuning into that show at that time, 11 a.m. Eastern, if you're awake, that is.